Hello and a very warm welcome to the Paul Ricard circuit as we prepare for the GT3 European Championship getting underway. The second race of the weekend on this Paul Ricard HGTT circuit, a track that's so well used in testing by many of the major manufacturers and teams, but this weekend being used for a full program of GT racing. My name's Ben Edwards, I'm here with Johnny Herbert, and we've enjoyed lots of good racing already this weekend. The first of the two GT3 races saw a Corvette 1-2 for two different teams. The Callaway competition car of Daniel Karbitz and Christian Hohenadel took the victory ahead of the Graf Racing Corvette, that of Joachim Lambert and Mike Parisi. Track temperature currently 48 degrees and air temperature 34. It's a lovely day here in southern France. It's hot though, and in those cars, those guys are really feeling the heat. Looking around the circuit, Johnny, as we've seen, there are one or two overtaking opportunities, but in the GT3s in particular yesterday, a sort of train of cars found it quite hard to pass one another. Yeah,
it is more difficult to pass here. There are opportunities, but at the end of the day, I think sort of out of turn 6 into the chicane, is it turn 6, and then into the chicane at turn 8, that's an opportunity. And then around sort of turn 11, 12, we have seen it sort of happen around that way, and then into probably turn 15. We haven't seen one yet, but I think if we get in the right situation, we could see a fascinating sort of last lap lunge up the inside of T15.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch. Cars are already lining up on the grid for this one, but the order they line up on the grid is not from the first race of yesterday. They had two separate qualifying sessions. Each of the two drivers does a 20-minute qualifying session, so you end up with a different grid, not necessarily a completely different grid, but we do have a different grid. And there on pole position then is the number 61 Pro Speed Competition Porsche of Marco Holzer. He set the pace in that qualifying session. They finished 6th in yesterday's race, but they started from further back. Paul van Splanteren, the other driver. Marco Holzer's a Porsche Junior driver. He's got a lot of experience in this kind of car, and he will be strong, there's no doubt about it. He looked quick in the latter part of yesterday's race, couldn't necessarily find a way past. Now he's got that opportunity to do it from up front. On that front row, though, is another man who's having a great weekend so far. It's Albert von Thurn-Taxis, the Prince Albert. He's part of what was a German royal family, and he is loving his racing this weekend because he's a busy man. He's just been out in the Lamborghini Trofeo race, and he won it with his teammate Fabio Babini. They had a win in it yesterday as well, and now here he is on the front row, fired up, ready to go, Johnny.
All warmed up.
Yeah, definitely very warmed up, I should think. He's pouring the water down him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, these cars do get into a high temperature. They're probably sort of into the high 50s or maybe 60 degrees inside, so you need a lot of fluids in your body.
Car number 16, that's starting on the second row. That's Mike Parisi, who finished in second place yesterday. And interestingly, the two Corvettes that finished 1 and 2, his car was second, are together on the second row of the grid. There's the Christian Hohenadel, who lines up alongside in the Callaway competition Corvette. So the Corvettes have really been strong this weekend here, and that was something that we thought could be the case. So let's go and have a quick word with the man who's on pole position, Marco Holzer, talking to Haley.
Marco, you picked up some great times and now on pole, your first pole of the season?
It's my second pole after Gerama. Yeah, I'm really happy for yesterday for the second pole position, but it will be a tough race. I saw the speed yesterday from the Corvettes and from the Lambos. They're really quick, but I do my best, and then we will see where we are on the end.
Thank you, Marco.
Yes, we will find out what happens. He was on pole in the second race at Jarama. He had Parisi alongside him, but the battle in that race actually was between the Holzer and the BMW Z4. They finished in second place in the end. This is the other BMW Z4, which is on the third row of the grid. This is Edward Sandstrom, who's starting for them. But it's a quick car, and it showed good pace again yesterday, didn't it, Johnny? Again, throughout pretty much, but Claudia Hurtgen in the other car, she had a really good stir against her teammate.
Yes, she did. There's a cracking little car, great little sound, and a good little race car. And they had a good little battle yesterday. Sure, they're going to be in the mix of it today in this race. Temperatures are sort of quite similar to yesterday, so I think the performances will be quite similar. But of course, they may have changed the setup from yesterday, and we may have a slight little mix-up as well, which would be good to see.
Dino Lunardi starting the number 18 Corvette on the outside of the third row, so he's in 6th position on the grid. That car finished 8th yesterday. Dino is the gold driver. Just to remind you, the drivers in GT3 are graded according to their abilities. It's more sort of according to their CV and their results in the past and what they've raced. And you can have a gold graded driver with a bronze graded driver, or you can have 2 silver graded drivers. But obviously what you're not allowed from the rules is 2 gold rated drivers together. So it sort of evens things up a little bit and makes it a little bit more fair. Antoine Leclerc in the car. There's Gilles Vannelet just ready to shake his hand as they get ready for the start of this one. They had a good result. They finished in 3rd place yesterday, and they're starting this time on the 4th row of the grid. And there's the Hexis Aston Martin of Luc Paillard and Thomas Ackery. Thomas will be starting this race, and he is also driving in the GT1 World Championship event here at Paul Ricard. So a very rapid driver. He's the gold rated driver in this lineup. Luc Paillard is the bronze, and Thomas will be going for it, I'm sure, in the early laps. Be interesting to see how far he can move that Aston Martin up the field. Starts on the 4th row of the grid then, so a little bit of work to be done there. As we move further down, we get to the number 5 Audi. Now this is the first of the Audis on the grid. This is the Saint-Lop Phoenix racing car. Gregory Gilbert is going to be starting this race. There he is. Pierre Hershey is his teammate. And, well, we'll see who comes out as top Audi in this one. The Audis didn't really feature that strongly in yesterday's race, to be fair. The first one home was the Team Rosberg car of Paolo Bonifacio and Michael Ammermuller in 10th. The Ford GT was going quite well. That finished in 7th position. And starting back on the 5th row here. So a bit of work to be done, but we'll see what they can do from there. Christopher Nygaard, another driver who is doing both GT3 and GT1 this weekend. So he sort of made his name a bit in GT3, continues there to get some good results, and has also moved up to the GT1 class too. We've got plenty more cars on this grid though, all the way down. We've got some 27 cars lining up on the grid. It's a very well supported championship, this GT3, and it really is a sort of mixture of good amateur drivers and semi-professional drivers, but not the real top league of professional drivers. The likes of you, Johnny, would be a platinum. You wouldn't even be allowed to go out there and play, would you?
No, unfortunately not. But it's a good mix, and I think this sort of gold, silver, bronze works out very, very well. And of course, you can be a bronze driver, but you can have talent. You just may not have the experience. So it's a nice mix-up of the different sort of speeds of drivers.
Michael Ammermuller, very rapid single-seater pilot. I've seen him in A1 GP, winning races, and he's very quick. But the Audi, as we've said, just doesn't seem to be on the pace quite so much. Ferrari have had a miserable time. The 2 cars have had all sorts of problems. Yeah,
they've had a bit of a disaster. They don't seem to have had, they haven't had much running at all, have they? So hopefully this time they get a little bit more track time. Yeah,
I hope so, because, yes, you say, Diego Alessi, who's very capable of winning races, there he is in the Chad Racing Ferrari. They had a gearbox problem, and I saw the boys last night, actually, as we were just coming back from having some grub, and the gearbox had been stripped. They put it all back together. They think they've solved it. The other car, they're also hopeful that they'd solved a problem on the other Ferrari that Charlie Hollings will be starting. Let's just hope, fingers crossed, because they couldn't know for sure until the car's actually on circuit. So there's the Lamborghini Gallardo, the number 25 Argo Racing entry. Neil Lagrange in that car at the moment. Ciso Cunilos joined in that team this weekend, interestingly that, because Ciso was in a Porsche early in the season, but he's now switched over to the Argo Racing team in number 25 Lamborghini Gallardo. Clock ticking away. When we get to 11:15, we'll get this formation lap underway. So the grid is beginning to clear now. There were a couple of incidents and crashes in that first race. The other Team Rosberg Audi, kind of Kenneth Heyer and Bernd Hendelhofer, hit a stationary Porsche, and that was quite a big old hit, wasn't it? So hopefully they've managed to get those cars back out.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Yeah, a bit of damage. I'm sure these guys, you know, they sort of normally sort of patch these things up very, very well. So hopefully we'll see them on the start. One
of the other interesting points is the other BMW Z4 had a problem in the qualifying session for this race. So Claudia Hurtgen will be starting plumb last. So she's going to have a bit of a tough time from back there, and we know the car's quick. We know she was certainly being an aggressive racer, wasn't she, yesterday?
No, she was great. Some of the overtaking manoeuvres she did were fantastic. She did a real nice manoeuvre on a teammate, and I think we could see some fireworks from her starting that far back.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. But this is the Aston Martin, the Hexis car, the team that's relatively local to this Paul Ricard circuit, the Hexis team. And as I say, they're involved in both the GT1 and the GT3. They're based at Meme, in fact. They started running Formula Renault cars originally when they started out back in 2002, but they've been running GTs for some 5 years. Michel Mathieu is the boss of Hexis Group, and his son Clément runs the team with Philippe Dumas, who actually is a bit of a driver himself as well, but they're obviously looking after the cars here. The points changed a little bit, but not really significantly, because the championship leaders basically opened up their championship lead a little further with the result from yesterday. So Daniel Karwitz and Christian Hohenadel, who start on the second row of the grid, have now got 113 points apiece in the Drivers' Championship, and their team, Callaway, have got a very useful margin in the Teams' Championship. Joachim Lambert, Mike Parisi, well, they finished second in the race. They are sitting second in the points. And then we've got behind them Philip Geipel, who's not racing this weekend. So Holzer in the Porsche on pole, Von Turner-Taxis alongside. Then two Corvettes on that second row of the grid, the Graf racing car and the Callaway car. Then the BMW Z4 and the Corvette on the third row. Another Porsche and an Aston Martin, that Hexis car we were looking from the on-board picture, that's on the fourth row. Then the Audi, first Audi on the grid, is in ninth. The Ford GT is starting in 10th place. Then we've got the Porsche, the number 60 car, and the Ammermuller Audi starting 12th. The Ferrari of Diego Alessi, there it is, in 13th, ahead of the Gallardo of Lagrange and Cunil. Then another Audi and another Corvette down there on the 8th row of the grid. And then further down, there's the Charlie Hollings Ferrari. Matt Griffin is starting the number 32 Audi. He's joined that team this weekend. The Hundelhofer Team Rosberg Audi's back there in 19th. Zach Brown starts his Audi from 20th. Then we've got another Corvette, another Audi, another of the United Autosports cars. Jerome Policon, good to see him, but they had a problem with that B6 Alpina yesterday. He starts 23rd. And there you see at the back is Claudia Hurtgen, starting all the way down the back of the field, and she's got plenty to do from back there if she's going to have any effect on this race. So she's not going to be able to win it from there, but judging by some of her overtaking attempts... Oh, we've got a problem there. One of the Porsches in the middle of the pack, one of the Mullner cars, has not managed to get away. That's going to be a huge disappointment. They had one of the cars was involved in the shunt. Oh, right, it's the number 11 car that has stopped there. So that is the Gilles Vandelay Antoine Leclerc car, and that's the car that finished third yesterday, if you remember. So that's really disappointing, Johnny.
Yeah, big time. It's always, as a team and drivers, to have a problem that early in this race. Hopefully they can get the car running, get it to the end of the pit lane at least, before these cars rejoin and do the start.
Now, actually, the problem with Claudia Hurtgen, just had news confirmed that it wasn't actually a mechanical problem in qualifying that's put Claudia at the back. It was a slight infringement on the rear wing when it was measured after that qualifying session, I think. So that's why Claudia's at the back. I did wonder, actually. I thought they had qualified better than that. So sure enough, they had, but they've been put to the back of the grid. Meanwhile, this is a real blow for the Mullner guys. The other Mullner car was involved in that big accident yesterday. So it's been a bit of a tough weekend for them. The Jürgen Hering, the Demetrius Constantinou car, that was involved in a big shunt. So unfortunately, things proving to be a little bit tricky for the team. But weaving around up at the front is our pole sitter in the NEC-backed machine. That is Marco Holzer. But right behind him is Albert von Turner-Taxis. We've already seen him racing hard in a Lamborghini, in the Lamborghini Trophy this weekend. Now he's back in his GT3 version, and he will definitely go on the attack, because he's just one of those kinds of drivers. He loves to go for it.
No, he does, and I think he's got a lot of grit and determination that he wants to do well, and that's great to see, because you know, he's got a wealth of experience, but he's driving very well. He's impressed me a lot.
Yeah, no, he has me too. So we'll see how he gets on in the in this second race of the weekend. And it's currently sitting down in 7th place in the points on 42 points, but needs to get a bit of a decent score in, because they did have some problems yesterday. So put those problems behind them, hopefully, and come away with a good result here today in the second race.
Yeah, and you can see inside the Hexis. There we go. I got it going. Yeah, I got it going. So I guess he will get to the end of the pit lane and start from the end. So at least they've got him running.
That's good news. So yes, he will be joining in, and that could be a car that also, like Claudia Hurtgen at the back, might be able to make a bit of progress during the course of this race. It is a 1-hour race, rolling start of course, driver change coming up somewhere around the middle of the race. After 25 minutes the pit lane will open up and they can then choose a 10-minute gap in which to decide when to come into the pits and change over drivers. You can expect maybe with generally we've got the higher graded drivers starting this race, so the gold rated drivers are the drivers that are majority in the cars now, so they will tend to go quite deep into that pit stop window because they'll want the advantage of the quicker driver for as long as possible.
Yeah, no, definitely so. And I was just saying with the Aston Martin, we have the inboard, you can see where they're sort of going left and right, and that's just trying to get the temperatures in the tyre. It is very, very warm track temperature, but you still got to get the tyre into its working window, and by doing that enables the car to build up that temperature for the start, because you need the grip and you need the brakes to be warm enough as well to get that grip for braking and grip for actually the first couple of corners, because you don't want to whiz off the track. So they're just approaching the last turn.
Here we go then, all ready for the second race of the weekend in the European GT3 Championship, and it's Marco Holzer in the Porsche versus Albert von Taxis with two Corvettes right behind them that had success yesterday. Watch the lights at the top of the screen as the Reds go to green. We're underway, and on board the Hexus Aston Martin, and immediately Thomas Ackery's on the attack. But up front, the Graf Racing Corvette's got down the inside. From the second row, the Ferrari.
And the Ferrari as well.
Diego Alessi trying to charge down there. How are they all going to get around
Diego.
that corner? Ferrari scores! He's overshot.
Yeah, but he's made. Look at that. I was lost there a bit, but that's a great start.
It is a fantastic start. Albert von Taxis ended up losing a lot of places then. And what a start.
The Aston, look, they're having a fight. He's trying to battle, I think, with an Audi.
The Ferrari, it's got smoke coming off it. The smoke, is that from the Ferrari? I think it is. Yeah. Oh, and up front, look at the two battling there. The Corvette almost ran too wide. The Porsche that was on pole is putting everything it can to try and get past him. But what a start by the Corvette of Mike Parisi from the second row.
There's one round. There's
the Hexus car.
Ouch.
What an onboard picture. You were right there, sitting with Thomas Ackery as he was clouted. And look at the debris. All over the place. Look, change up front. Marco Holzer's retaken the lead from the Corvette. The Corvette back to second, under attack from the Ferrari. Diego Alessi in that Ferrari. It's finally working, and at last we can see what it's capable of as he turns into second place into the chicane. And also moving up, Dino Lunardi in that yellow Corvette, attacking on the way into the chicane. Albert von Taxis and the other Ferrari, Charlie Hollings. Where are you going, Charlie? Come back. Well, he rejoins and gets back in the front. I think he's excited that the car's going properly now, because he's had all sorts of problems this weekend, and his teammate Diego Alessi is charging along in second place.
Certainly, that was a great first lap. We had so many battles going on. A little bit of contact there, but I think we've got a good race on. I think that was the car that hit the Aston Martin, I think.
Sort of unsighted. That's Jerome Policon. Oh, that's a shame. He's had no chance to show us what he can do. He's a quick driver, Jerome Policon. Great Formula 3000 experience and lots of GT experience, but the safety car's out, and there's no great surprise there, Johnny, with bits of carbon fibre and suspension sort of littered around the place.
Yeah, and I think the Aston Martin's on the edge of the track as well, so they're going to have to clear that up. But that wasn't a great first lap.
What a start. What a run down to that first corner.
Red Ferrari, fantastic.
What a getaway that was from Diego Alessi. But the Corvette, let's not forget that, you know, Mike Parisi in that silver Corvette with the flashes of green on it, that there you can see it's in third place now. But Alessi was 13.
Yeah, I was just looking, 13
on the grid, and he's got into second place. That is remarkable.
The others were asleep.
I don't know what they were doing,
because he nearly got the lead.
Yeah,
he wasn't far from getting the lead into that first corner.
And he still made the second part. I mean, he did sort of cut the first part, but he made the second part of the corner. So that was really impressive. The BMW Z4's up there. Sandstrom's up there in fourth position, so that's a good effort. But Jerome Policon. Now, here we go. Let's take another look at all this.
Yeah, you can see, I think it's the middle of the pack, the Aston Martin. I think it's just coming round now.
Yep, there it is.
And then the
Ferrari
gets a nudge. And then we just flick it. He just bang, there's the BMW straight up the side.
Oh, that's such a shame. And there was nowhere the BMW could go, was there?
No. Again, probably unsighted. This is an inboard.
Watch it from on board.
This is before the spin, obviously.
I think it's contact with the Ferrari.
You get a bit of a tap with the Ferrari about now. There you go. So he spins round, facing the other way. You see there's that Porsche, I think it misses it and bang.
And the Audi. The terrible feeling for the driver. John, have you ever been in that? Have you been in that situation where you've sort of been pitched around and then you're just sitting there waiting?
I have.
Yeah, plenty of times,
course,
I should think.
Yeah, so sadly, yes. Luckily not in Formula 1. Formula 1, it would have been a much worse thing to happen. But it's racing.
Anyone that particularly sticks in your mind when it's happened?
The only one that happened was there was a Spa race, I can't think, I think it was 1997. It was the first lap and it was a bit wet and there was a big crash going down the hill to Eau Rouge and there were cars everywhere and I actually got clipped. Oh no, I didn't get clipped. There was a gap and I thought, right, I'm going to get through this, and then a wheel came, I think it was David Coulthard's McLaren at the time, and it went bounce, landing on the back, and that was it. Suspension went, spun round, and then went down the track backwards. But there were cars everywhere. So
it's a horrible feeling. And we've got the onboard camera on that car, so I think we're going to take the opportunity to use some of that footage and have a real look at it, so you can talk us through it, really from your driver's point of view.
Well, this is the hairpad. Again, he's going around the outside, so he's trying to...
This was the start?
Oh, it's the start.
Yeah. So they're all picking up speed here.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so again, he gets a bit boxed in. He's trying to, then he tries to go up the inside of that BMW, but he can't.
I wonder if we'll see the Ferrari.
Yeah, there he is. No, it's not.
No,
there
on
he
the
goes.
outside, look.
It's complete. Look at that. Look, completely. Just go.
Oh,
it disappeared.
That was
fantastic.
Incredible.
So anyway, so he's keeping out of trouble, you know, and he's doing everything you possibly can not get in contact. I think he gets down the inside of this BMW. Yes, he goes over the curb. I think that's a BMW. So he's still fighting, and it comes back. I think that's an Audi.
Yeah, it's one of the Audis.
Yeah. Audis. So I think now he's okay, and I guess he's just trying to not get himself. The Audi runs wide again, so he's getting a bit boxed in. He's got two cars ahead of him there. He has a big moment there. This is where the tyres are quite cold. He tries to go around the outside. Maybe this was the mistake. You don't want to go around the outside there. And then there's that contact, and then there's the BMW.
And then suddenly it's all over a bit quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's one of those things on those starts, you know, there's so much going on, and you're just trying to get yourself, one, that you don't want to get into contact with anybody else, and two, you want to try and sort of move up as far as you can. Unfortunately, he got boxed in, so he wasn't getting the advantage like the Ferrari that we saw shooting down his inside going into turn one. But it's unfortunate.
Piers Maserati, boss of the Ferrari guys, the Chad Racing team boss, team manager, and he is, he must be impressed with what Diego's done to get where he is. Into the pits, the United Autosports car, number 23, the Zak Brown, Matt Bell car. Zak out of the car, so there must have been damage done to it on that opening lap. I think he made contact with the Aston Martin, the Hexis car, so put them out by the looks of things. That's very disappointing, and still debris being wheeled away. And that poor BMW, the Alpina B6, I'm really disappointed about that, because I really wanted to see what that car could do. We've got these different BMWs in the race, the Z4s, but this B6, big monstrous thing, and I really wanted to see what it could do in the hands of Jerome Policon, but it's not going to happen. There it is, you can see the B6, but here we are with our onboard view, heading down towards the first corner, cars flashing past. Look at the Ferrari, using every inch of the track and a bit more, finding bits of the track that no one else seems to even know about. Fantastic. Down the inside, he just overruns.
He actually gets into the corner first.
Just about, yeah. And he still makes the second part of the corner. Yeah. Albert van Toorn-Taxis, meanwhile, has made a bad start and sort of rejoins on the inside. Yeah. You go back on board with the Aston Martin. Cars one side, cars the other. He's just trying to find a bit of space. The leaders are battling their way. The Corvette's got in front of the Porsche. The Ferrari's up there in third position. The Corvette really sort of goes a bit deep in there, but then it's behind them that all the action. You could tell almost that it was bound to go wrong. The Ferrari and the Aston come in together. It's Charlie Hollings on the Ferrari. He just edges out wide and makes contact with the back of the Aston, and then bang, 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 ricocheting off that Aston.
I think he actually got hit both sides on the Aston. So
I think he did, yeah.
So I think both wheels are a bit out.
And a bit more than that. That's not going to be a cheap fix, is it? That's it's going to cost some money. So look at the cars being pushed over to the blue part of the circuit. Just a reminder, the different colours here at Paul Ricard, all those the blue areas and the red areas are different grades of abrasive surface, and they grip the cars. When the cars go off, very grippy, especially grippy tarmac. If you're on the blue, then the car slows down very quickly. If you get to the red, it's so abrasive it can actually shred the tyres. So the cars are hopefully then prevented from hitting the arm coat. Doesn't always happen. We've seen one or two hit the arm coat, and there's the other Graf Racing Corvette that was obviously involved in that incident as well. And so unfortunately, problems for them, and they're just trying to strap it all up and maybe send it back out on its way. Gregoire Demoustier in the car at the moment. The other Graf Racing Corvette obviously well up there in third place at the moment. Might have got beaten by the Ferrari, but it's still in with a chance of scoring points. Now, where is the Callaway Corvette of the guys that won yesterday? That's down in 7th place, which is interesting because it started on the second row. They just went through the shot. The number 101 Corvette of the championship leaders, Daniel Karlwitz and Christian Hohenadel. Now, they started on the second row. They didn't really get a particularly good start. They're down in 7th.
Well, we saw that we saw the Albert von Taxis. He didn't get a good start, and they actually started behind him. So obviously something was going on. That must have been the right side, the outside of the circuit. So I don't know what happened there. So I'm guessing someone didn't get away very well. Then they got swamped by everybody, and then obviously lost out quite a lot. So I would imagine it's Albert, because Albert was on the on that front row on the right-hand side, and we did see him whiz across the runoff area into turn 1. So I think there was something obviously going on there. And then obviously the Corvette, Christian, got caught up in something as well.
Yeah, and that's that. I mean, in terms of championship, that could be significant because it's allowed the Parisi car to have a couple of cars, 3 cars in fact, between themselves and the championship leader. So it could be a chance to score some points versus their rivals. But there's a long way to go in this race yet. 50 minutes to go. We had a safety car period in the first part of the race yesterday as well, after a fairly big collision, and similar but different on this occasion, with that Aston Martin getting heavily hit. So Marco Holzer leads. He started on pole. He lost the lead initially to the Corvette, but it managed to fight his way back into the lead. Meanwhile, the Ferrari got past the Corvette before the safety car came out as well. Then you've got the white Z4 BMW, the yellow Corvettes up there, and then Fontourne and Taxis. He's sitting in 6th place in his Lamborghini. Let's get down to the pits and get some more info. Haley's there.
Zach, were you a victim of the bit of a traffic jam out there?
Yeah, it all got a little hectic. It was pretty hectic into turn 1. A bunch of cars cut the chicane. And then as we were coming into 5, all I saw was a couple cars come together. The Aston was spun, and I thought I was going to avoid him. I went to the left, and then someone hit him right as I was going to the left, and he went right into my right front suspension, and we're broken and done for the day.
Thank you, Jet.
Oh, that's disappointing. Only come all this way to come and have some fun in the sun. It's Paul Ricard. It's a miserable way for it to end. Another look at this, Johnny. Anything else that we can sort of spot from what was going on?
Not so much. You see, there's a lot of smoke coming out the back of Ferrari. I don't think someone made a bit of contact with him, but we didn't see it later on. And this is the event. Again, the Ferrari just taps him, spins him round. Then we see the bank, and there's the Zachary just getting caught there. When you can see where the wheel on the Aston, where Zachary hit him.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate.
He couldn't miss it. There's Zachary there, then they're just there.
Yeah,
that was in. He just clips him. Very
hard to know which way to go, and you've got to choose quickly, haven't you?
I think it would have been okay, but I think when the BM hit him, that just moved it over that little bit more and into Zachary's path.
Yeah, so very disappointing for Zach Brown, a couple of the other guys. Safety car is going to be coming in on, according to the timing screens. The lights are still on, but those will be switched off, we think, in any moment. And the safety car will be heading back in, and it will be battle rejoined between the Porsche and the Ferrari and the Corvette. And what else have we got up there? A BMW, another Corvette, then the first of the Lamborghinis. So a real mixture of cars running up front. Charlie Hollings is still running in the other Ferrari in 10th position, just ahead of Michael Ammermuller in his car. I wonder what the Ferrari can do this time at the start. I mean, what a mega start it was from Diego Alessi. Very experienced racer is Diego, and he put all his experience to good use, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a little bit different here because obviously on the restart, when the lights go green, you can actually, then the race is alive and you can overtake where you can, where you want to. Now, with the pace car, you cannot overtake until you get to actually the start-finishing line. So that makes it a little bit different. But if you can get the timing right, you can still do it. But I don't think we're going to see the wild start that he did before. But
who knows?
Let's wait and see.
Okay, time for the restart here in the GT3s. Marco Holzer guides the Porsche out of the final corner as the restart gets underway. The Ferrari tucks in behind that made such a good start. He can't cross he waits until he crosses the line. Now he can overtake anytime he likes, but he's not perhaps quite close enough to attack in the first corner. Holzer goes defensive though. He's worried. He knows that Ferrari's so fast, and he goes defensive. The Ferrari's trying to go around the outside again.
Go on.
Great magic. And it's still side by side. And if Porsche goes wide, the Ferrari's on the inside. And AC still hard at it. Still trying to get by. He's done it.
And the Corvette's coming into it.
And Mike Parisi.
Round the outside, the Corvette. Yes.
Oh, he's got it to second. We haven't seen anyone pass there, have we, all weekend? And now the Ferrari's in front, now the Corvette in second, the Porsche in third, and the Cone takes it on the apex of the corner. That's gone for a Burton, and round out of the...
Great first corner.
Yeah, brilliant driving from Diego Alessi. That Ferrari wasn't working yesterday, and he couldn't show us what he can do. Now he can, and it's very fast in a straight line. We know that. It's been topping the speed traps, this car.
Yeah, he's just got to settle down now, get the as much advantage as he can, because now he's got a clear track. He's going to get those tyres up to temperature if he can, and once he can, all right, the Corvette is behind him as well, but I think he can keep it going. So we've got a little battle with the BMW and the Corvette.
The yellow Corvette, Dino Lunardi. I don't know whether he touched there with Sundstrom in the BMW Z4, but it's ever so close in that battle for fourth. Albert von Taxis is in the black Lamborghini Gallardo with the white flashes on the front wings there, and he's tucked in there. He was on the front row, remember, but made a poor initial getaway, so he's desperately trying to make up for that. Behind him, I think, is the Callaway Corvette, the race winner from yesterday. Yes, it is. There it is, tucked in the middle of that packed white car with the football colour scheme all over it, and then it's very, very close in a whole queue of cars. You can see the other Ferrari.
I think he ran wide there.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
Still,
Von Taxis did.
Yeah, Albert's gone a bit wide, hasn't he? And that's allowed. No, I thought the Corvette might get him. Hasn't happened, and he tucks in behind once more. So they are beginning to try to sort of sort themselves out here.
He's a little bit offline at the moment, which is making it very difficult for himself. He's just lost a little bit to that yellow Corvette in front, and now he's under pressure from that Corvette.
Ferrari up front, still leading the way from the Graf Racing Corvette of Mike Parisi, and the Chad guys are cheering on both of their cars. The other Ferrari of Charlie Hollings crossing the line in 10th place, as Albert von Taxi still managing to protect his position for the moment from Hohenadel. Right behind them is the number 60 Pro Speed Porsche, Marcus Paltala, at the wheel of that one. We'll see him out in the GT1s as well, and he's applying plenty of pressure. You know, that Ferrari is not getting away with this, Johnny.
No, it's not. I'm sort of quite surprised in some regard, and not in another. But I think at the moment he's doing a good job, because his racing lines are very neat at the moment, and he's not given any opportunity for that Corvette to even try to pass at the moment. Long way to go yet.
Charlie Hollings in the second of the Ferraris there. And we've got, we've got a drive-through for the race leader, for the Ferrari leading the race, a drive-through for overtaking beyond track limits. Oh, that's such a shame. I mean, he was using a bit of some of the bits of circuit.
That was the first start.
I suppose it was the original start, was it? Yeah. Oh, that's such a shame though, because he sort of got himself back into the queue, didn't he? And I don't know.
He did, but there is the white line you see is generally the edge of the track,
limit.
And he was way over.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's a shame, because it was a great start. Big shame.
And look at this, the Corvette on the attack of Albert von Taxis in the Lamborghini. And yeah, well, I suppose the decision has had to be taken. Oh, look at this, he's so tight, he might get up the inside here.
He did an overtaking manoeuvre there. Yeah, he's pressurised him, and he's not quite.
Oh, he nearly had him though. Nearly. And Christian Hohenadel desperate to get that car up. They are the championship leaders in that white Corvette, but they don't want to lose too many points to the silver Corvette, which is currently second. But the silver Corvette will, of course, take the lead in a moment when Diego Alessi comes in for his drive-through penalty. Well, you know, I know you've been doing some stewarding at some of the Formula One Grand Prix recently, Johnny, so yeah, I certainly bow to your wisdom on this one. If Diego Alessi is beyond those track limits, he's got to pay that penalty.
No, he's got to pay that penalty. I say he was over on that grade right near the wall, I think, when he was actually doing it. So yes, and in effect, if you can't pass the car, unfortunately, you've got to back off. But he didn't. Fair
enough. Well, he will be coming in next time round. Let's go and hear what Piers Maserati, team manager there, has to say about it.
Unfortunately, Diego, she's been dished a drive-through penalty. That's not going to help him now, is it?
No, that ruins the race. Obviously, we're not too happy, because he made an incredible start, legal start as well, and you know, obviously got pushed out. And here at Paul Ricard, we obviously have lots of room, so he used it. Otherwise, what does he have to do? Back out because someone comes across the front of him. So we're not too happy, but the penalty's issued, so we're stuck with it. The race is ruined, and they've ruined a good race.
Thank you for talking to us.
Well, you have to say he's standing up for his man, as you would as the team boss, wouldn't you, as the team manager?
As you would, but as you said, you know, what does he do? Does he back out? Unfortunately, yes, you have to. You can't use the excess of the track. Otherwise, you open up the whole track. You know, guys could be driving completely over,
Oh,
missing
look
the chicane.
Sorry to interrupt, Lunardi. Sorry, I thought he was going to get past that BMW, but he actually sort of had a think about it, but couldn't do it in the end. Rest of them coming through.
Yeah, rules are rules. Track boundaries are track boundaries.
Fair enough.
He wasn't in them.
Fair enough. Well, he's going to have to pay the penalty. He'll be in next time round. Interestingly, the incident between the other Ferrari and the Aston Martin is under investigation. So that's an interesting one, because, of course, the other Ferrari, in your role as a steward, let's go back to you again, Johnny, as you do it at the Formula One. What about that incident between Charlie Hollings and the Aston, the original incident? Would you put a portion of blame?
Me on the spot.
I am putting you on the spot. Well, you know, well, look, the Corvette's got past the Ferrari, has he? No, even without the drive-through. Mike Parisi, he doesn't need to take a gamble here because the Ferrari's going to be coming in, but Mike's, he wants to get that place anyway.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows yet. Who knows?
No, he might not have had the message, I suppose.
We'll see if he pulls in the pits now. He's still defending, so...
Presumably he'll come in. Well, yeah, there he goes. Cuts across.
Yeah.
Mike Parisi thinks, oh, that's nice. I've got a bit of clear road now. But the Marco Holt's and Porsche's right behind. And look at them all ganging up behind him.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
the race is on now.
Corvette versus Porsche up front in the GT3s.
Oh, we go. Go on, no.
Oh, thought he was going to make a late lunge then, didn't we?
I thought we did. So did he.
Yeah, so did he. BMW's of Z4 is sitting there in third place at the moment. That's the Edward Sandstrom car, really enjoying the mix at the moment. And then tucked in behind them is Dino Lunardi in the bright yellow Corvette, glinting in the sunshine. What a beautiful day it is here. Drive-through completed for Diego Leslie, put him right at the back of the field. Yeah. I don't know how many cars he's going to overtake before the end.
Yeah, he's going to be in...
Ford GT, I think, has gained a place past the number 60 Porsche. Yep, it's got through there. The number 14 car has made that move. That's Christopher Nygaard, and that's moved him into 8th place.
Yeah, we're seeing some nice overtaking in sort of places you probably wouldn't think overtaking can be done. So that's great to see that these guys are really on it.
Yeah. So anyway, coming back to that Ferrari Aston Martin thing, what would your call be on that?
Well, it's a difficult one because the Aston Martin goes about 3 abreast.
That's Lunardi going wide there.
Oh, and there's Albert.
And the other Callaway Corvette.
There's 3 abreast.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, he's passed. He's got through. Albert's got through.
Yeah, but where's the Corvette going to end up?
Well, he's ahead.
In front of the Lamborghini or behind it?
I think he's ahead.
Oh, no, the Lamborghini. Oh, and the other Corvette's come back.
Yeah, surprising. He looked ahead to me.
Yeah, it did to me. It's a difficult situation. And he's got to protect his championship points lead. He can't afford to sort of get in too much physical contact here with another car.
No, sure. Yeah, well, Albert sort of got the advantage that time, and now we can sort of get on trying to get up to the back of the, I think it's the little BMW in front.
Yeah, that's right. So, down the inside, there goes the yellow Corvette. Albert's struggling there, isn't he, with that Lamborghini?
He keeps running wide at that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's the car or him or what, but it's just not working around that left-hander. Anyway, let's get the decision.
You sure? You want to try again?
Try again. Every time you start giving me your official decision, we get more action.
Yeah. The Aston Martin tried to go round the outside. I think they're about two, possibly 3 abreast, and the Ferrari was, I think, on the normal racing line. And then as you sort of come back on the exit of that corner, you know, the Aston's going to be on the outside, the Ferrari's going to be probably on his inside.
Oh, sorry, you done it again. Dino's gone past Albert just as soon as you start explaining anything. It's great.
I'll come back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. When the race settles down a bit, I'll get you to start again because it livens things up brilliantly. The Corvette has got past and into 4th place. Oh, Dino Lunardi. He likes jumping over the curves, doesn't he? And then the Callaway Corvette is still in there as well. So,
well, he's running wide a lot, isn't he, Ben? He's not really hitting the apexes very well, and I think that's just giving the cars behind the opportunities, and he's just not quite getting it together yet. He hasn't settled down. It's a bit wild.
A bit wild, yes. Wild child. Claudia Hurtgen, we saw her in the other BMW Z4. She's made up quite a lot of ground. She's 13th, and she started right at the very, very back. So she's made a lot of places already in this race, and going well. I wonder how much further they can get. Dino Lunardi in the yellow Corvette, now that he's got past that Lamborghini. Ooh, a bit deep into that chicane, isn't he? Here comes the other one. Oh!
You see the cut.
Well, does he not get done for using the extra bit of track?
Well, this is always the thing. In some regards, yes. You know, he's probably not going to get the advantage because obviously Albert's sort of protecting there.
Yeah, I suppose he hasn't gained a place.
He hasn't gained a place.
Yeah.
But he did it on purpose. There was no need for him to do it. So
That is the thing, when you've got all this runoff, people will take advantage of it, won't
Yeah,
they?
they will, and of course then it's trying to, for stewards and everybody to sort of try and sort out, was that a blatant manoeuvre to gain an advantage.
Oh, here comes the Callaway car on Albert. This is where Albert's car really seems to struggle. Albert for turn and taxis.
Bit better this lap,
Yeah.
got that right.
Good, good. Give him a gold star.
Yes, he's moving up. Not yet, no, not yet.
No, all right, we'll wait until a bit later in the race.
Yeah.
But he definitely has been struggling in this race a little bit. That Lamborghini Gallardo they qualified so well, but it just doesn't seem to have quite the race pace, particularly of the Corvette.
I think he's just overdriving it that little bit too much, which is why he's just running that little bit too wide. So one, he's slowing himself down. He's not helping his tyres, and he's losing out to the people behind. And he's always, at the moment, for the last 3-4 laps, he's always been defending. And you don't want to be defending all the time. You want to try and get on with the job in hand, which is going forward, not looking in your mirrors and protecting your lines.
And that's what she's doing. Claudia there in car 77, she's definitely going forward.
She impressed me yesterday because some of the overtaking manoeuvres she did were very, very calculated and very, very well executed.
She's now into 11th from the back. That is really remarkable. I know we've lost a couple of cars with incidents, but still got plenty of cars running in this race, and I think still 23 running, 22 running, and she's got herself up to 11th, having started right in the back. There was some irregularity that meant they lost their qualifying time yesterday, but she's fighting her way back up. They had that victory at Jarama a few weeks ago. She's at the back of a little group that's being led by that Ferrari. Talking of a Ferrari, do we have a decision yet from our FIA steward here, Johnny? Was it Charlie's fault or not, that spin at the beginning?
As I said, I think he was quite wide. The Ferrari was sort of on his inside. I think it was probably more of a, to me, maybe a racing incident. I don't think he didn't drive into the side of him. I think they just met at a certain point on the exit of the track. I don't think there was anywhere that the Aston could have gone. I don't think the Ferrari could have done. Yes, you can argue he could have backed off, but I think you're talking of such small movements of the track that you need to sort of try and use. So to me, probably a racing incident.
Fair enough. Right, we've got our decision on that one. Up front, the race leader is still Mike Parisi from Marco Holzer. There's not been much difference between these two cars, has there? The Corvette versus the Porsche. That's what's so great about this championship. You've got these different manufacturers involved, different types of cars involved, being run by some very professional setups and teams, but being driven by a mixture of sort of semi-professional and amateur racers, and you get a real mix. There's the BMW Z4, Claudia Hürtgen's teammate, running in third.
Yeah, but I will add...
You will add, go on.
I will add that I think the Aston Martin didn't do anything wrong, and it was the Ferrari that did actually spin him out and take him out of the race, so in some regard, maybe.
Okay, all right. Something you might review.
Yeah.
Okay, Callaway Corvettes come in, and Christian Hohenadel coming in at the earliest possible opportunity. That's interesting, because there's not much difference in pace between these two. They both seem to be at a similar sort of pace. They're both very fast, actually. And it's Daniel Karlwitz who's joining in, the young German who has been impressive this year in GT3. He's come out of sort of a little bit of GT racing beforehand, but mainly sort of mini challenge and stuff in Germany. A little bit like what you were saying earlier, Johnny. Some of these drivers, they've come from different ranks where perhaps the level is not appreciated so much, and yet they can be really talented drivers. Actually, both Callaway cars coming in at the same time, that's not a problem. They've just got to do a driver change. They don't have to change tyres or refuel. There's none of that involved. And then it's a question of waiting for the clock to tick away and then send him en route. Back with the race leader, Mike Parisi, still from Marco Holzer in the Porsche. The number 61 car there, which was on pole, got beaten by Diego Alesi off the line. Let's just wondering where Alesi's got himself to. Well, he's in 20th place after that drive-through. So that's still pretty disappointing. Fastest lap, by the way, has got at the moment belongs to that BMW in third, the Z4. Edward Sandstrom, that car there, that has fastest lap at a 2:10.1. So still got a lot of potential, that car, hasn't it?
No, it has, and I think it showed it yesterday. We didn't quite. I don't think we saw everything that it's got. We've heard in the past, in the last couple of races, it's been very good, and it looks as if it's settling down very well today. They've obviously tinkered with it last night for today, and it seems to have benefited it.
So the change still taking place. It seems to have been going on for quite a long time.
Yes.
There's the other car of Graf Racing. Oh, there's the Graf Racing car, so that's okay. We've seen both Callaway cars in, but we haven't seen that car in yet, so that's okay. But it's when the leaders come in, that's going to be the big question mark. When will Mike Parisi come in to change over to Joachim Lambert? I think they'll leave it to the last moment. The pit window's still open for another 6 or nearly 7 minutes, actually, so they've got a bit of time to do a few more laps, but they've got to judge it right, because it is a long lap. And, you know, I'm sure that's